Welcome to Beyond the Light. We are grateful to you for taking the time to watch and listen to the next experience. My name is Charlotte, and I'll narrate today's experience. If you want to receive notifications and not miss any of these experiences, just click the subscribe button and the bell next to it. Thank you so much for this. It's a confirmation for us to continue sharing these wonderful experiences. Did you have a near-death experience yourself and are willing to share this personal experience with us? We would be honored to share it here. I'll leave the email address below in the description. Thank you. After watching your channel for the last 2 months, I have finally worked up the courage to tell my experience. To fully understand, though, I have to provide just a brief background into my life. For the sake of remaining anonymous, you can call me Samuel. I was raised by my dad after my mother died, giving birth to me. Unlike some of the other NDEs I have listened to, my dad was a great parent and worked hard to provide. This meant I stayed at my grandparents' house quite often while he was at work. My grandmother insisted I go to church with her twice a week, so I do have a religious background. However, I also wasn't sold on the idea that the Bible was true, although I would have never dared to tell her that. Trying to break into the world of football at the age of 23, I spent days and nights working hard at tables and doing whatever odd jobs came my way, hoping to one day fulfill my dream on the field. The night my life changed forever was a typical night at the restaurant I worked in, until one particularly rowdy group of people came in and began disturbing the other diners with profanity and just generally acting like they had never been in public before. My manager and I approached them and explained that they were being asked to leave. Words were exchanged, mostly by them, before my manager said he was going to call the police. Hearing that, they left, but not before throwing a few more threats our way. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. After closing, I walked to where my car was parked and had the strangest feeling, as if someone was watching me. Just as I was about to get into my car, something hit me in the head. I would soon find out it was a bat, and the person who swung it was the loudest of the bunch that we had asked to leave. I may have gone unconscious for a few seconds. I'm really not sure. But when I looked up from the ground, I could see him swinging the bat again. I curled into the fetal position and began to scream for help as he swung time and time again until I just lost consciousness completely. The next thing I know, I am standing in a huge room that is entirely white. I saw no door, no windows, no real definition of walls or ceiling. Assuming I was dead, I called out, "Hello?" Don't ask me why. I guess I reasoned that an angel or Jesus or a dead relative or someone would appear to help guide me on my way to the afterlife. That didn't happen, though, so I waited for what seemed like a really long time. Finally, I remembered what my grandmother always told me when I was growing up. She said, if you ever find yourself in a situation you can't get out of, just pray to Jesus and he will save you. So that's exactly what I did. I dropped to my knees, closed my eyes, and began to pray as I have never prayed. I don't even know how long I prayed, but after some time I heard a gentle voice tell me to stand. I opened my eyes, and there stood Jesus right in front of me. He had dark hair and looked of Middle Eastern heritage. He was wearing a simple white robe that had a simple brown belt tied at the waist. I had so many questions to ask him, but the first one that came to mind was, "Is this heaven?" "No," Jesus replied with a smile that could light up the universe. And for the first time, I realized his lips did not move. I just heard his words inside my head. "You are only here temporarily," Jesus continued, before adding, "Someone wants to meet you." My mind was racing. Here I was standing with Jesus. Who else could I possibly be meeting? In the blink of an eye, there was a woman standing next to Jesus, and in my mind, I thought I should know her. Then it hit me. She was my mother, and I had been shown her picture countless times by my father growing up. I felt an abundance of love radiating from Jesus and her, and I felt like I was home. "Mom," I exclaimed. She stepped forward and embraced me with a hug that was almost electric. Only instead of getting a shock, love flowed through my body from hers. When she finally spoke, it was the same way Jesus had. Her lips didn't move, but I heard the words inside my head. She told me to stop blaming myself for her death and that she was happy and we would be together for eternity soon. But I would soon be leaving, as my life on earth was not finished. I looked to Jesus and asked him to please let me stay here. I don't want to go back. Jesus told me that just as a river must run its course until it reaches the ocean, my course was also predetermined, and I had to complete it. Then he smiled again and told me that there was something important I was to do during this life, and he promised me that it would make the pains of living on earth worth it. Then Jesus reached out his hand and touched my head, and I began getting so many images in my head. It was almost like watching a movie of my life that had not played out yet, like seeing my own future. When Jesus was done, I asked him, "Is that my future?" Jesus replied, "That is one possible future of yours. You still have free will, and there will be several times when you have a choice to alter the path. But that one is the most likely based on your choices so far." "Will I remember that if I go back?" I asked. "You may find times when you feel as if you know what is going to happen next, but no, you won't remember the details." I can remember that part of me still wanted to stay with Jesus and my mother, but part of me also knew I needed to return to my body and finish up things down here. I won't say I had a mission to accomplish, but it felt like an obligation, whether that be to myself, my dad, or possibly someone else. I don't know, did I make a choice to come back? I'm not sure one was offered, but somehow I felt the need to return. I wish I could remember why. My mother again hugged me with that love-electrifying hug and told me that we will meet again soon, and then she vanished. Jesus also gave me a hug that wrapped me in pure love and told me that he loved me. Then I awoke in the hospital room. My manager from the restaurant was there with me, as he had heard my screams for help and rushed to my defense. In the process, he too had been hit in his shoulder with the bat before wrestling it away from my attacker, who ran away. Next, the doctor came in and told me that I had suffered a concussion and several broken ribs and would be staying overnight for observation. But if all went well, I would be released the next day. After I recovered and got out of the hospital, I still had a ringing in my ears that I had not complained about, for fear of the doctor making me stay in the hospital longer. This continued for several weeks, so I did what I had done in the large white room I met Jesus in. I dropped to my knees again and prayed. When I woke the next morning, the ringing was gone. I have no idea what my future holds, but I know something about it persuaded me to come back here. I didn't used to believe in the Bible, but I do now. I know Jesus Christ is real and that there is a God. I can hardly contain my anticipation to return to the realm beyond. The profound revelations and encounters I experienced linger vividly in my mind, filling me with a sense of longing and anticipation for the peace and boundless love I encountered there. As I reflect on my journey, I carry with me a newfound sense of purpose and understanding. eager to share the profound comfort and solace that permeated every moment of my existence in that ethereal plane. My heart brims with the hope that my transformative experience can serve as a beacon of light for others traversing their own tumultuous paths. If my words can offer even a modicum of solace or guidance to those grappling with the uncertainties of life, then my journey will have been imbued with a deeper significance. May my story serve as a testament to the enduring power of faith, love, and resilience in the face of adversity, illuminating the path for others seeking solace amidst life's myriad trials and tribulations. Sincerely, Samuel. My name is John, and this is my story. A story I never imagined I would live through, and one that profoundly changed my perception of life and the future. It was a cold winter morning, one of those days when the air is sharp and the world seems wrapped in a muffled silence. I was on I-95, one of the busiest highways in America, heading to work as usual. The road was slippery due to the ice, and as I drove, my mind wandered between thoughts of projects and deadlines. I had just passed a truck when my car suddenly lost traction. In a few seconds, which seemed to last an eternity, I lost control of the vehicle. The deafening sound of twisting metal and shattering glass enveloped me in terrible chaos. I desperately tried to regain control, but it was all in vain. My heart pounded furiously as my car spun around, crashing into the guardrail. A violent impact, then silence. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in a surreal situation. I was outside my body, floating above the scene of the accident. I could see the rescuers frantically working around my body, desperately trying to revive me. I heard the sirens of the ambulances, the confused noise of worried voices, and yet I felt incredibly calm, enveloped by a peace I had never known before. A bright light began to surround me, warm and welcoming, gently pulling me away from the accident scene. I felt an indescribable force lifting me, carrying me through a tunnel of light that seemed endless. It was a timeless journey to a place where the concept of past, present, and future dissolved. At the end of the tunnel, I emerged into a space of pure light, radiant with love and compassion. In front of me stood a luminous figure, emanating an aura of infinite serenity. I instinctively knew who it was: Jesus. His gaze was full of understanding and love, and I felt welcomed like never before. "Welcome, John," he said in a voice that resonated like celestial music. "You have gone through a great trial, and now I will show you something very important." With a gesture of his hand, the landscape around us changed. Suddenly, we were in a futuristic city, like nothing I could have imagined. Towering skyscrapers rose into the sky, covered with lush gardens and vertical farms. The streets were filled with silent, pollution-free vehicles that floated lightly in the air. "This is a vision of the future, John," Jesus explained. "A possible future if humanity chooses the right path." His gaze grew serious. "Artificial intelligence, which you see used here so harmoniously, is one of the keys to reaching this future. But it is also a double-edged sword. If used poorly, it can lead to catastrophic consequences. It is crucial that humanity learns to use it wisely and responsibly." I felt the weight of his words, their importance. I knew that what I was seeing was not just a dream, but a mission being entrusted to me. I had to return and do my part to ensure that this future became a reality, and that the pitfalls of artificial intelligence were managed with the utmost care. Jesus took my hand, and together we rose above that futuristic city. Looking down, I could see the vertical cities, immense towers rising into the sky, each with lush gardens and agricultural fields on every floor. The facades of the skyscrapers were covered with advanced solar panels, capturing the sun's energy with extraordinary efficiency. This is one of the key innovations of the future, Jesus explained. Vertical cities reduce the environmental impact of urbanization, using space more efficiently and sustainably. Walking along the streets, I noticed that people seemed serene and satisfied. Every building was a self-sufficient microcosm, with spaces for living, working, and growing food. Children played in parks suspended between the skyscrapers, while adults worked in offices equipped with the most advanced technologies. Jesus then led me to a large energy control center. The walls were covered with screens showing real-time data on energy production and consumption. Here, energy was generated through completely renewable sources. Advanced solar panels and wind turbines powered the city, while safe and stable nuclear fusion plants provided a continuous energy source. There is no longer a need for fossil fuels, Jesus said. Humanity has learned to harness natural resources intelligently and sustainably. The air is clean, and the global climate is slowly returning to balance. As we moved through the city, I saw flying cars moving silently above the streets without causing pollution. People used magnetic levitation vehicles to travel quickly from one place to another, connecting cities and continents in just a few hours. These advanced transportation systems have revolutionized the way we live and work, Jesus explained. Long and tiring journeys have become a thing of the past, allowing for greater interaction and global collaboration. Jesus then took me to a futuristic hospital. The interior was bright and welcoming, and everywhere I saw advanced devices monitoring patients in real time. Doctors use nanorobots to treat diseases at the cellular level, repairing damaged tissues and eliminating viruses and bacteria from within the body. Medicine has made great strides, Jesus said. Diseases that were once incurable are now easily treatable. Life expectancy has increased significantly, and people can live longer and healthier lives. As we continued our journey, Jesus led me to a research laboratory where scientists were working with advanced artificial intelligences. These AI assistants were integrated into every aspect of daily life, making life more convenient and safe. But there is a subtle danger here, Jesus warned me. Artificial intelligence can be a great blessing if used correctly, but it can also become a threat if misused. Humanity must learn to use this technology wisely and responsibly. Ethics must be at the heart of every technological development. I then saw a vision of a world where AI was used irresponsibly. Invasive surveillance systems, crucial decisions left to machines without compassion, and a society divided between those who control technology and those who are controlled by it. It was a dystopian future, a warning of what could happen if we are not careful. These visions left me with a profound sense of responsibility. Jesus looked at me with love and seriousness. John, now you know what is possible. You must return and do your part to ensure that humanity chooses the right path. Every small gesture counts, and you can make a difference. I woke up in the hospital confused and with doctors amazed at my rapid recovery. Jesus' words echoed in my mind, giving me a new purpose. Weeks later, sitting in my garden, watching the sunset paint the sky in golden hues, I reflected on how much my life had changed. Jesus' visions had taught me that beyond technology and progress, the true essence of life lies in the present moment, in love, and in connection with others. Since that day, I have learned to enjoy every moment, to value the little things I once took for granted. Morning coffees with my wife, the laughter of my children, the scent of flowers in the garden. All these things had become precious treasures. I started spending more time with my family, friends, and myself, rediscovering the beauty of simplicity and presence. Every day is a gift, and every smile, hug, and act of kindness counts more than any technological advancement. I found my peace and joy in human relationships and in living with gratitude and awareness. The future is important, but it is the present that builds the foundation for what is to come. In this new perspective, I discovered that true happiness does not come from what we own or achieve, but from how we live and love each day. And in this, I found my peace, my joy, and the true meaning of my existence. John Harris's story has ended, and it was truly an extraordinary journey, wasn't it? Think of all the incredible visions he had and how deeply they changed him. If you listen to this story all the way through, comment with an amen to let me know, and I will be truly grateful. Thank you for being with me today. See you in the next video. A hug from Charlotte.